We're in the library, the quiet zone. This video here, I'm gonna tell y'all how it goes down inside of prison libraries.
Well, hold down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone, and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
Welcome back to another episode of Kfrogtv. Y'all go ahead, hit that like, subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. You can also catch me on a day-to-day basis on my gaming channel, which is called Kfrog Gaming. Even if you don't play video games, if you just want to come in there and hang out in the chat, then let's do it. If you don't know, I just announced the giveaway. As soon as I hit 8K subscribers on my gaming channel, I am giving away two, not one, two brand new PlayStation 5s. So y'all be on the lookout for that. But anyways, for this video here, you know, we're going to get into this prison shit. What I'm going to speak on today is the library. Okay? Now, on the streets or in school or wherever you may be, everybody knows when it comes to the library, you got to keep your mouth closed. You got to keep it down to a minimum. So I'm going to break it down and let y'all know how it is inside a prison when it comes to the library. Because there's a big difference between prison libraries and ones on the streets. All right? So I'm going to be speaking on 3 incidents, you know, that I recall from the library in particular that I'll be breaking down in this video. All right? So here it is. Now, first things first, when it comes to the library inside a prison, that is like the escape route everyone takes in order to leave the dorm. You know, you can't just get up and walk around the compound when you feel unless you are on a call out. So a lot of people will use the library in order to make it to where, oh, I got to go to the library in order so they can get out of the dorm, you know what I'm saying, without the police pulling them over and trying to take the ass to confinement for being in an unauthorized area. And a lot of people get wet at the library, okay? Believe it or not, like I said, it isn't like the library on the streets. Now, what I recall from the library is, especially when I was at Calhoun, I used to go in there all the time, and I used to actually watch National Geographic VHS movies. Because when you go in there, they got them all on display. You can literally go in there and kill a couple hours of the day just by sitting in the library. You know, just sitting there chilling, watching, you know, different shit. So I used to watch all the National Geographics on different animals and shit because I was actually going to start studying herpetology so I can, you know, master amphibians and reptiles and stuff like that. So I watched all those and shit. Now at Charlotte, they didn't have it to where you can actually watch the movies and stuff like that, or the VHSs. They had it to where you can go up there and you give them your ID and you can like rent magazines while you're there. They have all magazines on display with like a number on them. It'll like number 1 through 75. And then you just walk up to the counter and you say, and you slide them your ID and say, let me go ahead and get number 25. And then they take your ID, they write it down that they just rented you that magazine. Therefore, you can't take it back to the dorm or nothing like that. And they'll give you your ID back, which is like your credit card when you give them the magazine back. Now, this first situation that I'm going to speak on that happened inside of the library was when someone was supposed to get wet up, okay? I went with one of my homeboys. He was actually on a mission that he had to put in some work, you feel me, for the gang that he was joining. So when we went in there and whatnot, there was a person that worked inside of the library that he was supposed to actually hit. Me, I went just to, you know, just to fall back, just in case it went sour on his end. I was finna jump in and stick up for him because he was my homeboy, you feel me? So when we go in there, we go inside the library. And like I said, he's supposed to be, you know, wetting the person who worked in the library at the time. So when we go in there, I fall back from him. Boom. First, we were together next to each other and we're looking around at the books and shit, trying to make it look like we're actually into getting books. Because they do got some good-ass books in prison because all their books are donated. You know, they might have 15 copies of the same book, but, you know, it is what it is. Whether it's Patterson books or, you know, shit about animals, or whether it's ghost stories or whatever it is you may like, they got pretty decent books in there. So, and it doesn't hurt, you know, to, you know, give your mind some fun and read some stuff. So we're sitting here, walking around, looking at the books together and shit. Then next thing you know, we distance. I distance myself from him, you know, that way I could see from a different point of view than he is. What he's got to do is he's got to walk up to this person and he's got to wet him up and rip him up, you know, to get him off the compound. So when this shit is about to go down, I'm standing near the door just in case when he gets wet, if he tries to run up out of the door, I'm there. He's not going to be able to run, because if he does get away with this, you know what I'm saying, like as far as getting away, then basically the person I was in there with flopped, you know, and it looks bad on him and the organization he was cool with. You feel me? I'm not going to put no names out there or whatnot, but you feel what I'm saying? So I see him. I see the dude that he's supposed to wet. I look at him. He looks at me. I nod at him. He nods. Now it's time for him to go. So he walks up to the dude, hits the dude across the face. When he hits the dude across the face, dumbass did it with a dull razor. So when he did it with a dull razor, it didn't even cut the dude. It literally, like, you know, because with a brand new razor, you barely even got to touch it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to cut like butter. The harder you push, the uglier it's going to look, and the more crooked of a cut it'll be. But you can literally just barely touch someone with a brand new razor. And for people that done touched razors before, or even if you shaved with them, stuff like that, you know, new razors ain't nothing to play with. So he had a dull razor. I guess he used it for a haircut before, or whatever it may be. It was dull. So when he went to cut the dude in the mouth like that, that shit didn't even cut him. Next thing you know, the dude's taking off on him. So when the dude's taking off on him, I run up, grab the dude like this, and sling him across one of the tables. Like, he slid into the chairs, shit like that. And at the same time, you got to try not to make as much noise, because there is people that work for education that are inside there, if there isn't an officer. Because a lot of times there isn't officers. That's how people get wet inside of the library, okay? But there is an office usually that has an actual staff member, which is like someone that works for like the education school board or whatever. So when I slammed him like that and he went against the chairs or whatever, the person that I was there with wore glasses. His glasses were to the point to where you could just touch them and one of the glass lenses would fall. So once the dude rushed him, one of his glasses fell out on the ground. When his glass fell out on the ground and shit like that, I'm laughing at him and shit. He's looking for his glass. I'm trying to help him get his glass. At the same time, as I grabbed the dude, slung him, he went up against the tables and shit like that. Next thing you know, the person who works inside of the office comes out. When they come out, we got to shift and act like we ain't got nothing to do. No, she's like, what's going on here? What are y'all doing? We walk out. He ended up getting in trouble with the person that he was supposed to take the hit for or whatever, because he flopped. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if that was a sharp, brand new razor, that person would have got like that. Okay? And they let us just walk right out of the library. Everyone that's seen it, no one said nothing. The person that was in there, she couldn't do nothing. She wasn't an officer. There's really nothing she could do about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, the library is a very dangerous place inside a prison. Okay? The person that I knew, he ended up getting a violation with the gang and shit like that. And they came there a couple deep and they beat him up. So the next time I seen him, he would walk around all patched up and beat up and shit from different gang members, because he flopped right there in that one situation. You know, I say when it comes to the library inside a prison, shit goes down there. Okay? Now, this second incident that I'm going to speak on is, it had to do with a gang member that was actually messing with boys. He was messing with a faggot, okay? And his gang brothers found out about it. So when they found out about it, you know, they set him up. They basically gave the faggot a kite, which is a little note, and told him, you're going to give this to our brother and make him meet you here at the library. You know, because before gang members end up taking action or taking flight on their own kind, they basically investigate first. So that's what they needed to do before they took flight on this person. You understand? So the faggot, which they call them boys, so I'm going to say the boy, okay? The boy gave the kite to the gang member. Told him, hey, baby, this or whatever it said on the kite, meet me here, at this time. When the whole thing goes down, all the gang members are watching their brother to see what he does. You know, they're watching from a distance. They're shaking up with them, doing all their little gang stuff. And then they just watch what he does. See if he goes to the library, see what he says he's going or anything like that. Once they know that he's going to the library, they basically let him know, oh, it's a wrap. Like, you deer meat, basically. So when he goes to the library, the boy's in there because he was setting him up. What he does is he grabs he ends up cutting the boy wide open. When he cuts the boy wide open for setting him up, and the way he knew he set him up is because all of his brothers came over there and basically told him, boy, you got now, boy. You a booger, you got. You feel me? So he ended up ripping this booger's mouth open. When he ripped this booger's mouth open, the booger went to hollering, the boy. You feel me? He went to hollering, holding his face like this, running around straight gushing. There was blood squirted everywhere inside of this library. This situation had nothing to do with me. But I was actually in the same dorm as majority of those gang members that were observing their brother. And where, you know, word travels and shit. So I was on the way to the library on the first place. So I was in the library line, and then that's when it all came to me of what was about to go down. So he cut the boy wide open. The boy was gushing, blood everywhere, like I said. Next thing you know, he's on the compound still. Within the next couple days, he ends up going through with his own brothers. Okay, they ended up wetting him up, getting him up out of there. But what I mean by blood everywhere is, I mean, it literally looked like something you see in a video game. If you ever seen the video game Killing Floor 2, which is the game that I be playing actually, one of the games I play, there was literally so much blood from this dude getting his shit ripped wide open in the library. And that is another time when no one got in trouble for it. He took to medical, had his whole shit all patched up and everything like that. You never seen him again. He thought he was doing the right thing by telling on his lover to his gang, you know? And the gang put pressure on him to trick that gang member. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, he got the shit end of the stick. He got his whole mouth ripped open, and that gang member was still on the compound going through it with his own brothers. He eventually got wet up and stuff like that, and they got him off the pound a couple days later. But we're not going to get all the way into that, because this is about the library. This is how I'm letting you know how dangerous it goes down in the library. Regardless of how nice it looks, everything's got to look nice, because when the warden comes around with Tallahassee, with the state of Tallahassee, the head of Tallahassee down here in Florida, which is classification, when they come down here with Julia Jones or anyone like that, that shit's got to look up to date. Everything's got to look real nice and be, you know, knick-knacked, all pretty looking. But at the same time, it ain't the library that's killing people. It's the people in the library. Just like out here on the streets. Some neighborhoods ain't even got a look hood and ghetto and ran down. And there could be some savages that live in there. Why? Because it ain't the apartments that are killing people. It's the people in the apartments. Same thing with the library, okay? Now, this third situation that I'm going to tell you that took place inside the library was one of the ones I will never forget, okay? And I held this one to last, to tell y'all at last, because it's kind of mind-blowing, you know, to be real with you. You see what I'm saying? Now, if y'all see my prior videos and y'all, you know, follow my movement a little bit, then y'all done heard me speak on different things I did in prison. One of the videos I broke down and spoke on how I came home state certified. I got my buffing degree, state certified environmental services. I was on the buffing squad. I was in buffing class. Okay, I did the college courses and everything like that. Came home with only 12 credits, but at the same time, I still accomplished it. Now, for this one here, I remember what we used to do a lot is we had a certain amount of area to cover throughout the month, which means we had to keep buffing the same classrooms, keep buffing the library, keep buffing the chow hall, keep buffing the dorms. We had a certain amount of area we had to buff before the end of the month for training, basically. We're being trained as part of our class, but really our teacher had to cover it. So we, you know, that's what he made us do. So this situation here, I guess you know, library's closed. We're in there buffing. Putting all the chairs upside down on top of all the tables, flipping all the tables on top of other tables first. Let's start like that. You got a handful of tables and you start flipping them ones upside down, putting them on top of the other to where there's only like 2 or 3 tables now because everything else is stacked. Put all the chairs up top, boom, 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 do the same thing to where it's all open area, so now we can buff. Okay, so as we're in there buffing, everything fine and dandy, you know, cleaning shit and stuff like that. The lights are kind of dim because it's closed. Now, one of the people on my buffing squad came across some shit that was hidden in there. He didn't say nothing, so we cuffed it. None of us even knew. He hit. He came up. That boy hit the jackpot. We didn't know nothing about it. Everyone just kept cleaning, this and that. 2 days later, about 5 gang members come to my dorm. And they knocked this Chico out, this Spanish dude in my dorm who was in environmental services with me. So everyone like, damn, bro, what he doing to such and such? You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows what's happening. When he was buffing inside the library with us, that boy found 10 cartons of cigarettes. 10 cartons. You know how much money that is? You do the math. You have one cigarette. They cut the filter off. So now you have the cigarette. That cigarette breaks down into 5 pieces. Those are $2 chubs right there. That's $10 a cigarette. 20 cigarettes per pack. And however many packs come in a carton. So do the math now. How much money that was. Which it's enormous amount of money compared to how much 10 cartons will cost on the streets. But even on the streets, 10 cartons will still run you a little bit. But not like you will make in prison. Okay? Depends on where you are. It could go from $2 chubs. They can have dollar hollows, which is like a half of a chub. They could be selling chubs for $3, $4. It could be a confinement chub to where it's double whatever it is on the compound. So if you go on a compound where it's $3 a chub and you get put in confinement, $6 a chub. If they know you, $5. They'll take $1 off for one chub. It's like double the price in confinement. So anyways, he came up on 10 cartons of cigarettes. He didn't tell nobody but one person. That one person he told was a baser. A person that smoked every day and was looking for his next fix, next time to get high. So what did he do? He started running his mouth about it. Okay? So the gang members came down there. They knocked this Chico out right in the middle of our day room. Just straight up said, hey, man, what's up, bro? Hey, bro, you seen something you shouldn't have seen? What you talking? And they already knew that he had it because the dude who was the baser was spreading the word of the mouth like if he had it because it was his homeboy. But as soon as he asked them, hey, man, you see my such... Nah, bro, I don't know what you're talking... They didn't even want to hear it. They reached back, dropped them, left them slumped right in between 2 bunks in the open bay. Open bay dorm, you have bunk beds on the outside of the wall, single bunks in the middle. They knocked them out dead ass in the middle of our dorm on camera and everything. More gang members came down there, which happened to be another organization. Not the same one that just knocked them out. This bomb he came up on happened to have like business to do with like 3 or 4 different gangs. And it was stashed in the library. You know what I'm saying? So they beat his ass. He was crying, had his shit all lumped up, went inside of his mat, ripped his mat open, pulled out probably like 2 cartons worth, went over to his homeboy who was the baser, went in his mat and pillow, pulled out the rest of it. So by the time that he gave it all to him, it was probably like a carton short because he done spent it on a bunch of Tunchi so he could try to make money. Spent it on a bunch of other shit so he can get food for canteen. You know, started fronting people shit. He had so much tobacco, he didn't know what to do other than get rid of it. Because even if it belonged to him, that right there is enough to where people will try to end you. Okay? Because everything is about $1 in prison. 10 cartons of cigarettes, if you do the math I just told you, that shit is real. That shit is pressure. Okay? Like real deal. So, I guess he found it in the roof or whatever when he was, you know, cleaning. And he thought he would take it and not tell no one but one person. And they ended up fucking him up over that. Alright? Now, this is the type of thing that goes on in prison all the time. Okay? People hide shit in different places and stuff like that, which will never end. You know what I'm saying? It will never stop. Like one time when I was at Charlotte, they raided the chapel, the church. And inside the chapel, they found like 3 ounces of Tunchi, which is K2. Like 15 to 30 cell phones. Like 25 needles with steroid cartridges. Different types of steroids and just out this world. Fucking like, you know, that's what it is. You feel me? But it just shows that no matter where you are in prison, whether it's the library, which you're supposed to be in there studying, whether there's people in there doing their law library work, because everybody in prison's trying to get out. So there's always people in there. There's always traffic. Or whether it's inside the chow hall, whether it's inside the chapel, you're in there trying to get your religion on. You're in there hanging out, trying to be faithful to your religion, trying to learn shit, whether it's got to do with being a Christian, whether it's got to do with, you know, being Muslim, no matter what it is, you will always be near something that you don't even need to know about. It is always a dangerous place, okay? And the number one thing that you're supposed to do in prison is mind your business. But at the same time, if you're in there cleaning, you're on a compound where there's 1,500 to 2,000 inmates. And then there's only 10 of y'all now. While the rest of the compound's locked down, there's only 10 of y'all separated into 5 different rooms, 5 different classrooms. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, there's 2 in this room, 2 in this room, 2 in this room. You know, you end up coming across some shit. It seems like a big score. It is a big score. Only person that will know is you and the dude that's helping you. It's going to be kind of hard not to grab that. Kind of hard not to take that. You know, you're going to take the risk. But at the same time, prison's such a small world that people are going to find out who's got what. There's no way that you're going to just get cigarettes like that Chico thought. He was just going to be the man with the cigarettes now. You think people ain't going to know where the hell they squares at, where they work is? You see what I'm saying? He should have kept his mouth closed. He should have just ducked it off and just been quiet and waited a while. And then slowly but surely just, you know, break it down. 10 cartons, break that shit down, find 5 hiding spots, place two in each one, boom, boom, boom. Or just bury 7 of them, put 2 more over here and 1 more close to you, and see how quickly and slowly but surely you can start offing it. Keep your mouth closed, because people are going to know who's got what. You're not going to even be able to sell 3 cigarettes in a dorm without someone knowing. But this is the type of things that you come across in prison. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wanted to break it down and let y'all know how it is in the library, in prison. It is not like that on the library on the streets, obviously. You know, you got respect. You got things, you know, people in their own lane. They all there really studying. Not just meeting up with people like in prison, just to sit at a table like this and talk back and forth with your homeboys. Because that's what people do. People will literally just go to have gang meetings or plan on doing hits or just chopping it up, just bullshitting. Don't want to do what the officers are telling you to do in the dorm. So everyone meets up at the library. And every place I've been, the libraries was a place where people get wet. Okay? At Calhoun, even though I said I'm going to tell y'all 3 stories. At Calhoun, I seen a dude get his head split wide open. 4 or 5 different patches with a lock inside of the library. Sitting there thinking shit's sweet because it's a different vibe. The energy is way lower when you're inside of the library than what you're used to on the compound. You know what I'm saying? But you can't sleep on the beef in prison because you never know if you'll make it out. And this one dude was in there reading a book, minding his business, thought shit was sweet. Maybe he didn't hear them come in because of how loud the TV was. You know, from people watching different little movies and shit, documentaries. And the dude came in there with a lock and patched him up. Beat his ass right there inside of the library. And no one seen. No one at all. That's just how it is. You got to keep your eyes open, bro. Your head up, your eyes open at all times. Straight up. Me personally, I never studied in the library when I was in prison. I'd get books and shit like that, and I'd go back to my dorm to where I feel more comfortable, and I'd watch because I've seen so many crooked things go down inside of the library. So here you are with all this time on your hands, and the best thing to do while you was in there is to get as much education as you can because it's free while you're in there. Get as many college course hours and trades and all that you can because it is free. But you're living in an environment where it is dangerous to enjoy your education. Your education can be the cause of your mess up, the cause of you not making it out. Why? Because of how damn dangerous the damn library is. But anyways, man, I appreciate y'all watching this video. Like I said, y'all want that real spill? This is where it's at. Straight up. You already know. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, it's Frog.